Hi, welcome to Planet Hex. I'm Andrew Hawnt. Over the last few weeks I've done a lot of videos where I've been hunting for VHS over on eBay, and I've been really enjoying seeing all the ex-rental tapes that people have got on offer. I've even picked a few up for myself, which has been nice. I'm not going to get back into collecting full on, but I did really enjoy doing that recently. If you're not familiar with who I am, I wrote a book called VHS Ate My Brain, which came out in 2014, and I've been getting messages from all over the world ever since then, from like-minded enthusiasts. There is a new version of that coming out soon, the revised edition of VHS Ate My Brain, with a new chapter and a bunch of other new stuff in it. But for this episode, I thought I would have a look through some of my old haul photos. So back in the day, when I was putting together VHS Ate My Brain, and when I was seriously, deeply into the VHS collecting scene, which I'm not anymore because I just don't have the disposable income or the space. I have two kids and I'm very suburban now. But I used to go out hunting every day. Plus, the other thing, apart from the kids and the adult lifestyle and the lack of disposable income, tapes just aren't around anymore in the wild here in the UK, which is a shame. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to have a look through some of my old haul photos from when I was most active in the Horror VHS Collectors Unite Club and page on Facebook, and let's just see what we've got. Let's see what I can reminisce. Some of these will be from eBay, some of them are from just in the wild, some are from stores, some are from trades, but I'm just going to see what we've got here. I've got a bunch of my my haul photos here from back in the day. So first up, we've got one where I got these were okay, so She and Through the Fire were in the wild. They were charity shop buys. They were 10p each. Yeah, She was 10p each. It was a nice edition. It was a little bit battered. Through the Fire, couldn't get into that. It's kind of a supernatural ghost story type thing, but really didn't get into that. I sold She off for, I think it was about £10 at the time. But that version, that edition of Return of the Living Dead was one of my most prized possessions for a long time. I held on to that dearly until I absolutely couldn't afford not to sell it, which was a shame. I got that from eBay for a £5, and I did sell it on for about 25-30 when I eventually sold it. So it's the Vestron video version in the puffy clamshell with that gorgeous painted artwork, and I really regret selling that, but I'd imagine that happens to a lot of collectors out there. That was a great tape, and I really missed that one. I must get that again sometime. So here's a good example of a haul. This was a haul that I'd got from a day out. So I'd just gone around shopping around Nottingham. So I've got a couple of paperbacks, the Behold the Stars and the Strange and the Supernatural. Those are from charity shops. Massacre at Central High was from a discount catalogue clearance store, which was in the Broadmarsh Centre, which isn't there anymore, that store. Grindhouse 3, that was from HMV. That's Grindhouse movie trailers. Those DVD collections, even though they're not all horror or anything like that, or not all action, they are absolutely fascinating films. Collections. I had 4 volumes of that, and that was just ludicrous. I watched the first 3 back to back over one Christmas period and had some very weird dreams. I had a dream that I was in a post-apocalyptic action movie in an armchair, Mr. Bean style, on top of a Mini, but firing a Gatling gun from it. That was pretty cool. So I'd also got Massacre at Central High there, the Grindhouse DVD. It got Jacko on VHS. Now that, you see, it doesn't have a UK certificate on it. It's an Irish tape, that one. So it's from an independent Irish company, but I just love the cover of it. And David Cronenberg, Shivers. It's all right. It's not my favourite Cronenberg movie, but it was good. It was good to get on a tape. Let's just sell through VHS of that. And a copy of Horror Fan, a short-lived horror movie magazine over here in the UK, and that was it's got Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger himself, on as the Phantom of the Opera. That poor guy spent decades in rubber faces. And you see in the corner there's also the Captain America movie, the Matt Salinger from 1990 or so. I liked it at the time, but that was from an entire day out of getting stuff. Here we've got these were part of a batch. There's a couple of photos in this lot. These are from a batch I got from a newsagent in Sherwood, which used to be Sherwood Videos, and it's long since been a newsagent and off license. And I was talking to the owners while I was going through an enormous cage of tapes that used to be their livelihood, and it was there where they say, you know, it's awful to see what was our livelihood just being sold off for pennies, but it's nice to see that it's going to someone that will appreciate it, and it certainly did. I really loved those tapes. The Dr. Hackenstein was a screener copy that had a time code on it. Vampire Nights, that's my second copy of that. That was a very silly late 80s horror comedy where they'd not quite got the horror or the comedy elements right, but I think the best thing about it was just how it looked. It was from 1988 or so, and it was just really fun to watch, just joyously fun to watch. But Evil Speak Up there with Clint Howard, which it's the cut version, not the uncut version that was banned from the Nasties era, or it was dubious, seemed to be dubious in the Nasties era. I can't remember if that one was banned. I don't remember. I'll have to refresh my knowledge on that. And we got a cut copy of Berserker. That's a cheap slipcase edition of Berserker, which was cut to fit a clamshell. So over in the States, I know that a lot of VHS tapes came out in slipcases, if not most of them. But over here, the slipcase ones were kind of reserved for market stores. They were like the cheaper end of stuff. But the best one there is Necropolis. It's the Empire movie Necropolis. It's got recycled music from a load of Charles Band movies. It's got the lady with 6 boobs suckling zombies. It's a weird movie, but I love it. It also has my, as I've written about in, I think it was in VHS Hit My Brain, I wrote about it with one of my favourite failed special effects sequences in there, where a guy gets shot in the arm and the squib fails. So it's like the gunshot and then the squib falls out of his arm, and the actor reacts like, oh god, there's a squib, and then goes, ah! It's just a lot of fun. Honestly, it's a great movie. I really, really love Necropolis. So that one was from the newsagent place. Let's see what we've got on the next one. I have picked these at random from my archive. So here we've got where was this from? Ninja 3, Okay, these were from charity shops. These were from Extra Care, I believe, in the Broadmarsh Centre before that closed down, including the 3 DVDs there as well. So we've got Mad Max, which I gave to a friend. I believe I sent that over to a fellow collector. We've got The Bite in Big Box X Rental. You see, the Mad Max is one of the Warner Home Video large-scale clamshells. Very desirable for fans, those, because they're some of the really early ones. What was that? 8 Million Ways to Die, or I can't remember what that even was, that action movie. But as I'm such a sucker for X rental tapes, and it was like 10p, I couldn't leave it there. One I regret I really regret selling on was Cut and Run. I got Ruggero Deodato's Cut and Run from that branch of Extra Care for 10 pence. Oh my god, the days when tapes were 10p. I feel very old now that I'm now getting nostalgic for the era where I was nostalgic for the initial VHS era. Oh my god, because this is like 10 years ago now, if not a little more, when I was really stockpiling tapes. So The Bite, that's a fun film. But Creepshow 2 on DVD, Not of This Earth on DVD, the Tracy Lords movie, the remake of the old Roger Corman one. I think that one was Roger Corman as well. And a DVD of Sinjanor. We've also got a VHS of Scum. Not my sort of thing, things about like Borstals and prisons and things, but that sold straight away when I put that up. That was a really good find. We've got Hit List, which is kind of a straightforward action movie, and we've got Ninja 3, The Domination. What a movie. A movie that mixes ninja movie, action movie, and supernatural horror movie together into one completely inept but eminently entertaining package. I love that film. It's ridiculous. But it's ridiculous in the best way. So this glorious bundle here, this was also from the newsagent I mentioned earlier. This was from the newsagent, used to be a VHS store, and I was blown away by this. I took several bags with me, and I got I think it was 26 tapes in total that I got from there. So we've got Child's Play 2. Not a big fan of the Chucky movies for various reasons, but you know, collectors liked it, it sold. But Extro 2, which was bugger all to do with the first Extro movie, but you know, Who cares? Well, Demonic Toys, the full moon movie, and I sold that, and I really regret that, but I needed the money at the time. I know that's the excuse for a lot of these things, but you know, parent that came along, I couldn't justify having an enormous collection of tapes, although I will always have a collection of tapes. It's just not as big as it used to be. That's not a euphemism. So after the Demonic Toys, there we got In the Mouth of Madness, X-Rental. These are all X-Rental big box, apart from the Hills Have Eyes and Lady Hawk and Total Recall by the look of it. In the Mouth of Madness, great 90s movie, great 90s horror movie. We've got a Child's Play screener there, which took me a while to sell. I couldn't actually sell that at first because it was a screener copy. That's what I put it down to anyway, but that did eventually go. And we've got the Salem's Lot and Return to Salem's Lot there on one tape. We've got Faust, I think the Spanish that movie, Army of Darkness, Back to the Future. Then we've got Hills of Eyes Part 2, less said about that the better. Labyrinth on X-Rental, Lady Hawk. Then we've got, I can't remember what it was called, Dagon, that was it. And I can't see that one, I don't remember what that was. The next one along was, it's been a long time, I would have to look at my records. And we've got Shadow Builder, which was Bram Stoker's Shadow Builder. It's there next to Hellraiser 3, and it wasn't a very good movie, but it had a lenticular cover, which made it desirable. People wanted to get hold of that because of the sort of animated cover. Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth, again, not the best of the series, but desirable because it was X-Rental and big box. And we got House 2, which is just fun. I love the House movies, all four of them. They were varying levels of quality, but they were constantly entertaining. And Total Recall, one of the finest Arnie movies, but each of those set me about 50 pence each, and I couldn't complain. I made quite a lot of money on those when I sold them on, but I do regret selling some of them on. I wish I'd kept hold of Demonic Toys, Army of Darkness, House 2 and Labyrinth, because they're beautiful. They're just artifacts from an age that I genuinely miss. And then I would get quieter days where I didn't get loads, but I still got something cool. So I got Eliminators on this day. This was one where I got Eliminators from from Extra Care. I think it was 25 pence that time, so the prices were going up. And a copy of Fangoria, which was from Book Scene, a store I did write about in VHS Ain't My Brain, where I was worried if the gentleman had got trousers on or not, but he did, thankfully. But yeah, I love all horror movie magazines. There is an episode of Planet Hex on this channel somewhere where I just go through some old horror movie magazines. I will do that again soon. So next up, this is a day out. This is one from a day out again, where I got Carrie on DVD, Night Train Murders on DVD. Those were from FOP. I think from FOP, the old FOP in Nottingham City Centre. Exorcist 3 on X-Rental Big Box VHS. The Thing on Sell-Through, a tape of Starfleet episodes. That's aging me. I remember that being a thing. Battlestar Galactica. I think at this point I was just buying tapes for the sake of it, because I didn't really want either Starfleet or Battlestar Galactica, but they were VHS and they were starting to become scarce even then. And I went back up to Book Scene and got a copy of Toxic Horror, which is not one I read at the time. I used to be a big fan of Gorezone and Fangoria back in the early 90s, but never really got Toxic Horror, so I've been picking those up where I've found them lately. But that was to me, that was a successful day, because I got DVDs, I'd got tapes, and I got a magazine. I like to get a mix. When I used to go to comic shops in the 90s, I would always make sure I got like a UK comic, an American one, and a pack of trading cards. That was what I liked to get. Some sell-throughs there. These were from various places. So Evil Dead and Freaks were, believe it or not, from HMV, full price, back in about 2000. Suspiria and Rabid and Fog and From Beyond. In fact, and Nightbreed and Dark Angel all came from charity shops, but yeah, the first two tapes there are from HMV, and it was always more satisfying to get them X-Rental or used, because I don't know. I think it's because the tapes have history. Then these things have history. They are proper artifacts. They've been handled and used and enjoyed, and they've been through different people's lives, and they've been part of different people's life stories. And that's what interests me about stuff that people's recorded off the TV, because you get a real look at people's internal workings that way. So here we've got some really good ones. These are from various places. So some of these, like Spookies and a Devonsville Terror and Rejuvenator, are from charity shops. The Gate, Killer Clowns, Trick or Treat, and Bad Dreams came from eBay, and I believe Society was a charity shop find as well, but there's some interesting stuff there. I love The Gate. Rejuvenator, not a great film, but watchable. Very weird rubber effects in it. Devonsville Terror had Donald Pleasance in it. Spookies had farting poo demons in it. That was from Bookscene. You can't go wrong with a movie with farting poo demons in it. Bad Dreams always kind of creeped me out. The trailer creeped me out. Movie wasn't as good as the trailer, but it was good fun. Society, oh Jesus, how do you talk about Society? It was Society, seriously, if you know, you know. Trick or Treat, one of my favourites of all time, and Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And none of these were very expensive at the time, and this is something that is kind of missing from the scene at the moment. Things are getting very, very expensive. So I think I have one more, which is, yeah, there's a good example of a day out. I'd got, I think these were from Bookscene again, Spectres, Shaolin Temple 2, and Impulse, and Urotsuka Doji 3, The Return of the Overfiend, all on VHS. That Urotsuka Doji tape, that's one where we didn't actually get the animated version in the UK because it was deemed to be too unsuitable for audiences, so a version was cut together that was largely stills. So that's what that was, and it also came with an art book in a presentation box. But that's just a look at the sort of thing I used to be able to get in while out in the wild, and that just doesn't happen anymore. You know, here we are in an age where there aren't any tapes around. There's a lot less in the way of cult cinema stuff available because people have just wised up. They put it on eBay, they put it on Facebook Marketplace, or they trade it on Facebook groups, and that's fine. You know, I do miss the days where I could go and spend literally about £2 and come back with an armful of stuff that I could either add to my collection or flip and sell on to other collectors. But that's a little look through some of my favourite hauls. It just takes me back. There's some good memories there of just searching for things and seeing what I could find in weird little places along the way. And thank you for joining me for that. There will be some more VHS content very soon. I'm Andrew Hawnt. Thank you very much for watching Planet Hex.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and validate my existence.